Good morning. So in this week's Torah portion, Moshe Rabbeinu is giving Teichacha, and he tells us what happened by Har Chodev, Har Elikim, the mountain of Chodev, the mountain of God, Har Sinai. So he says, Rav loch sheves bahar hazeh. Rashi comments on it, kipshutoi. That means, let's get moving. Yeah, a lot of things here, let's get moving. Another thing Rashi brings down the Medrash. Says as follows. It was great reward and greatness. And as a reward that you are sitting by the mountain, you're dwelling by the mountain. You made a Mishkan, you made a Menorah, and you made the vessels. You received the Torah, and you appointed for yourself Sanhedrin, masters of thousands and masters of 100. So what is Rashi adding to the regular Pirush? Why do we need all this? Sure, it's time to move on. But Rashi wants to bring another point over here, and he brings the Medrash. Even though he brings it from the Sifri, he does not he does not write exactly what the Sifri writes. But he says as follows. You made a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God. That is the whole purpose why God asked to make a Mishkan. That was a forgiving for the Egel also. But as we know, before they made the Egel already, they were ready to go into Eretz Yisrael. But they wanted the hard way. And therefore he's telling us that now we are going to Eretz Yisrael. God chose you, and He told you to make a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God. You became a holy nation. A holy nation is not that we make believe we are a holy nation, or we tell ourselves what the Yetzer Hara tells us is holy too. We try to play with ourselves. A holy nation means you're connected to God. You're a holy nation. And since we're going into Eretz Yisrael, you made yourself the Menorah. What is the Menorah? The Menorah was not lighting up the Mishkan. The Menorah was a testimony to the whole world that the Shekhinah is by the Yidden. And that's why God chose Yerusholayim to be the holy place for the Jews. And that is the total opposite the way it is now. God chose the Beis HaMikdash to be a place for Himself. And when we go into Eretz Canaan, we should not keep our Judaism in our heart. The Menera is to tell us that since we're going to Eretz Yisrael, we have to bring out the light into the whole world. We can't stay at our side. We cannot stay within ourselves. We have to spread the radiance of light into the world. And that's why Rashi says, Kibaltem HaTorah after that. How do we sustain ourselves in this world? That is with the Torah. That we receive the Torah. Until we also appointed judges to make sure we fulfill the Torah properly. And then, last but not least, is Sarei Alafim V'Sarei Meos. The Sarei Chamishim and the Sarei Mea was for the Midbar. That is a galus attitude. You know, there was a lot of travelings, and every place you go, there's another Rav. There's another Din Bezdin. There's another issue coming up. So therefore, you had to need hundreds of Bati Dinim, hundreds of Sanhedrin. When you come into Eretz Yisrael, when you come to Yishuv, you need only one. Or two, that's it. Sarei Alafim, Sarei Meos, that's it. Heads of thousands and heads of hundreds. You don't need the the lower people. And the idea is because at that time they were ready to go into Eretz Yisrael. And that's what we're teaching us. Sure, we are in galus, but we don't have to live in galus. The same thing which Yaakov Avinu told Parai. We are not here to live. We only came here as a ger. As an outsider. We're not here to take upon the minhagim of the land. We don't have to live in galus. We have to take that mentality out of our minds. Sure, we are in galus. Sure, we have that entity in galus, but we don't have to live with galus. I have to do what everyone else tells me, what my peers tell me, what the world tells me. You have to go this way, you have to go that way. We have to be a light unto the nations, not a light under the nations. We were chosen by God to be His holy nation. And that's why we should know that galus is not our lives. We have to go further into the Geulah Hamitis Vashlema. We have to look forward for the Geulah Hamitis Vashlema. The Jewish children are like they were exiled from their father's table. Exiled from our father's table. So that means that we have to stay in exile? We have to look forward to the third Beis HaMikdash. Sure, you received the Torah on Har Sinai. Sure, you built a Mishkan on Har Sinai. Sure, you made judges in the Midbar. It's time to move on. Let's quit the galus mentality. Let's quit living in galus. And that is our avodah. Rav lachem sheves bahar. Sure, you accomplished great things in galus. Torah-dike things. Mitzvahs-dike things. But that gives us a right to stay where we are? No. Our goal is Mashiach. And do everything we can that people should see that we are a Goy Kadosh. We don't act like the Goyim. And Eretz Yisrael is not a Goyish state. Goyim, the land, makes them a Metzius. We were a Metzius before we came to Eretz Yisrael. We were a Goy Kadosh before we came to Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael was chosen by God. Non-Jews have no place in Eretz Yisrael. Where did all the tzaras in Eretz Yisrael come from? When we want to make peace, we want to go out to Goyim and appease them. That is not the tachlis. We can't think like Goyim. We have to think like the Eibishter wants us to think. We have to see what the Eibishter wants us to see. And the Eibishter wants us to see only good in the world. The Dvar Elikim which is in the world. There's no reason to hide your Judaism. We have to be proud Jews. We have to be a light unto the nations. So let's make our world a good world. People look up to the neshama that we have. And let's do good things to promote our neshama and not our bodies. Sure, there was great things in the time of the Midbar. Moshe Rabbeinu says, get out of Galus. Get out of there. This is not your tachlis. Your tachlis is to go into the Eretz Yisrael. Be'ez Hashem, this Tisha B'Av, this Zayin, Ches, Tes, Tisha B'Av should be Yemei Sasim V'Simcha, days of rejoicing. Let's accompany ourselves with good things, with positive things, days of Simcha and joy, and let's bring Mashiach in reality. Take it from Yad Mamash now. Long live our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe King Mashiach forever and ever. Long live our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe King Mashiach forever and ever. Long live our Master, Teacher, and Rebbe King Mashiach forever and ever.